Thank you so much, sir, first of all, for joining us on the GD Goenka Alpha Edge podcast.
It's a pleasure.
I'm going to straight jump into the questions and ask you. A lot of parents did not even know that they were anxious and that anxiety was getting transferred to the child.
A toddler could have anxiety from school, depending upon two things. If the emotions at home are regulated, the child is much more grounded. But if there are emotional dysregulations at home, be it in any form, then the child is going to have anxiety seed which is sown in.
How can schools contribute, make things better for them?
Schools need to...
Welcome to the Goenka Alpha Edge podcast by GD Goenka Mohali, a space where conversations nurture not just young minds, but calmer hearts too. I'm Harman Sidhu, Academic Director and Head of Communications at the school. Today we are touching upon something deeply familiar, yet rarely spoken about: anxiety. Not the kinds children are born with, but the kind they quietly inherit from the adults who love them the most. In our fast-moving world of expectations, comparisons, and constant worry about the right thing for our children, many parents carry an invisible emotional load, and often without realizing it, that anxiety gently passes on to little shoulders that are still learning how to feel safe in the world. To help us understand this delicate connection between parental anxiety and a child's emotional well-being, we are honored to have with us Dr. Chhatwal, a trusted voice in mental and emotional health. Dr. Chhatwal will guide us through how anxiety shows up in families, how it shapes our children's behavior, and most importantly, how parents can pause, reset, and create calm, more confident spaces for their children to grow. Thank you so much, sir, first of all, for joining us on the GD Goenka Alpha Edge podcast. We are so excited to have you.
It's a pleasure.
I'm going to straight jump into the questions and ask you, do you believe children today carry their own anxiety, or are they often reflecting the unspoken anxieties of their parents?
So what I feel is that children are reflecting anxieties more than the anxiety coming as an origin.
Okay.
I mean that they are not carrying their own anxieties. It is more of a reflection.
Right.
I'm sure you're going to agree with me that children are not born worrying about their future, about their achievements,
Right.
about failure.
Right.
What children are born with is a nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
And this nervous system is it is tuned to what is going on in the environment.
True.
Now, if you go into the neuroscience perspective, we have something called mirror neurons.
Right.
So, as the name suggests, mirror neurons are nerves which can mirror. A child who's not able to express or may not have that vocabulary to express is just mirroring what is going on in the environment. So, if the caregiver is calm, the child feels calmness. If the child giver is anxious, the child is going to be anxious. So they are just picking up what is there in the environment. And this is what we call emotional attunement.
Right. Right. As you were speaking, I could just think about my own self and my own children. So however much can you pretend with children? Like you're calm and composed, but your inside is like a chaos.
If you would ask me, not fully. So there could be a time where you could mask up, or there could be things which parents could do, especially if they are really worked up. They could just walk out and come back again in a much more calm situation and then take it up from there.
Right.
So you have to actually play around and see how much you can expose and how much you can hide.
And is there, like why I'm asking you this is, I will share my own experience also. So post-COVID, I felt like this is something that most parents experienced. The fear and anxiety of COVID did not just snap out of everybody. It just stayed with you. Even when schools opened back, everything went back to normal. A lot of parents did not even know that they were anxious and that anxiety was getting transferred to the child. So my daughter, when she had to go back to school, she'd barely done 100 days of school when the schools shut down. And so when she had to go back to school, it was a nightmare to send her to school. It was a meltdown every single day. She would howl, she would cry. And even though I personally, now I'm coming from an education background, I'm coming from a psychology background, and I know that my child is anxious and this is anxiety talking, but I'm telling myself that I'm calm and I'm composed and everything's okay, but my child is still like, it's such a chaos. Now, I'm sure there are many parents in the same situation where they do not even know that it's their anxiety getting transferred to their child. So how do they first figure out their own emotions? Or is it actually the child or school goer, would a school going child, a toddler, would they actually have anxiety for school?
A toddler could have anxiety from school. And that is actually depending upon two things. One, what is the emotional state at home?
Right.
If the emotions at home are regulated, the child is much more grounded. And the child is, I would say, much more adaptable and much more comfortable with peers.
True.
But if there are emotional dysregulations at home, be it in any form, then the child is going to have some sort of anxiety seed which is sown in. And then the child will also start manifesting one's own anxiety.
Right. How can the schools help in that situation? Because when we at GD Goenka also have children who come in for the first time, they're 3 years of age. And of course, the first is parental separation anxiety. They're leaving their parents for the first time. How can schools contribute, make things better for them?
I think the first and foremost is that schools need to first educate their own caregivers and their own teachers.
Right.
And they need to actually go in for some sort of psychological classes so that they are much more at an advantage as compared to a run-of-the-mill school.
Absolutely.
So I think you being in the psychology, with a psychology background, are the right person to make such a program. And teachers during their part of their training or before starting their own curriculum should be having a curriculum too.
I absolutely agree with you, because when we were struggling, I remember going to the school over and over again and telling them that, listen, I'm ready to work with you. Let's just find out a way. Let's talk to the teacher. Let's get together and understand what's going wrong. I'm trying to monitor my environment. Maybe something is off in the school. Maybe we need more help, because these children are coming from post-COVID times and it's very stressful. It's been stressful for the whole world, right? And the school had no support system. So much so that I had to take my child out to a psychiatrist. Then she sent me to a counselor, and then she went through some classes. And then the counselor, she called me and she told me that, I want you to speak to the school, and these are some points. I want them to read them. And if they do not listen, then you come back to me. Thankfully, they did listen, and we sort of, helped her through, and now she's such a happy child. She's just such a happy child. But not everyone, first of all, not every parent would recognize that the child is struggling and that we need to do something about it. What advice would you give to those parents who would just dismiss a child crying, a child unhappy to go to school? If a child is again and again saying, I don't want to go, how would you prep a parent for it? Because most of them would just dismiss it. The Indian culture is dismissal. They will just dismiss everything. You're crying, it's okay, बच्चे तो रोते ही हैं. I don't want to go to school, बच्चे सब ऐसे करते हैं. What would you say to those parents?
So I would just want to tell them that we need to educate our society.
Absolutely.
I need to say that such behaviors of children, if they are more than what is normal, or what is normal or what is abnormal, whichever one can say, if it's a regular feature. Right. If the child is clingy, if the child is every day crying, doesn't want to go to school, is always complaining, has got headaches, has got tummy aches, doesn't want to mingle with people, then there is a serious problem. Right. And we need to identify the source or the cause of this problem. Now, a child's emotions or that level of maturity is not there. Right, so you need to first figure out, if you're not able to figure out at home, then it is better to first find out what is going on in school.
Right.
Is the child behaving like that at home, or is that behavior being carried to the school? Right. And then it is always advisable that you try and catch it early
Right.
And as you rightly took that decision to go to a psychologist, a psychologist will be, a child psychologist will be able to help you out
True.
and help you channelize into the right path, what your child needs.
Right. Now we already discussed this, but in what subtle everyday ways does parental stress unknowingly transfer to children?
Yeah, so children, basically, as I told you, they have mirror neurons.
Right.
So they are picking up everything.
Right.
Now, very common thing is the tone of one's voice. If one is using even kind words, but the tone is not correct, the child is going to pick that up. If a parent is very rushed up in the morning, running, always looking at the clock,
Get up, we're getting late.
Yeah, so that is creating excitement in the home. So the parent doesn't have time to connect. And one very common way this can happen is a parent who's multitasking.
Right.
So the child has the parent with him or her, but the parent is not mentally or emotionally there with the child.
True.
So the child is just feeling the physical presence and the parent is never there. I would say many teenage children come and tell this to me, that my mother is sitting there with me. I am doing my work, but she's hardly bothered what I am doing. She's on her phone looking at Instagram, and that's about it. And the last way is, I would also say that in areas where there is a lot of correction rather than connection. So if parents are they are correcting the child that this is wrong, eat like this, sit like this, walk like this, do like this, do your homework, time to go to bed. So too much helicopter parenting is also not good. And children also are picking up cues from body language. So if the parent is little stiff, parent is shallow breathing, parent has got shoulders which are looking like stiff. So children tend to pick up all these cues, and then what goes on in the child's mind is something even worse. So a child's mind or the nervous system goes into a hyper alert mode. And the child is always looking for, because a child is just looking for two things in the environment. Is it safe? Is it dangerous? Am I safe? Is this dangerous? So all these things which are happening, the child gets a signal that, look, there is something wrong. I am not safe here.
So I'm doing, as a creator, like you said, parents are looking at Instagram all the time. So I work on Instagram, and I'm sure multiple parents today have multiple sources of income and work, and we're constantly doing something or the other. So me and my husband both work on the phone continuously. So when the children are gone, of course, they don't know what we're doing. But when they come back, of course, our work continues. So this is something that I also realized that it's, now what I do is in the morning, I just keep my phone away. I don't touch my phone. Till the time the children are home, I will not touch my phone. I will be with them. Once they've gone to school, I will work. When they come back, of course, I'm working now. I have actually, initially I used to get like really irritated with my kid constantly, mama, mama, mama. So instead of getting mad at her, I started telling my daughter, I said, listen, this is mama's work time. I said, in the evening when I put my phone down and when I'm with you, then I'm not looking at the phone. This is my work time, right? If there's something not very important, then maybe we should wait till the evening. So I've continuously started to tell her that so that she respects my work. And at the same time, she knows that I'm going to put my phone away and then I'm going to be available for her continuously. Would you also like to add to that and give some advice to parents? Because yes, we are all working on social media. Even today, doctors are forced to become social media people because this is how things work. So we are working on the phone. We are continuously looking at the phone, not because we want to view it, because sometimes your work demands you to see things and, get some creative ideas. So you are scrolling. There is no doubt about it. So what advice would you give to those parents who are continuously working on phones and working from home? This is the new culture.
So I think you've already answered my question in what you're doing. Yeah. So what we need to actually realize is that children need clarity.
Right.
Children also understand in their own ways. Mm-hmm. If we are just snubbing them, then that's not the right approach.
Right.
But if we are there with them and with affection, we explain it to them, I am very sure each child would understand,
Right.
and each child would respect your boundaries,
Right.
and each child would look forward to have that quality time
True.
which you have, like you have with your children,
Right.
by keeping your phone away.
Right.
So we need to, as adults, act little bit more mature,
Mature.
and children need emotional clarity.
Absolutely, absolutely. And but then when with smaller children, it's a little difficult. When the age group 1 to 3, they don't get it. My elder daughter is 9, so she understands if mama is saying this is my work time. But the chotu doesn't understand. When I need mama, I need mama. I don't care what she's doing. Then she will throw tantrums and throw the phone away. So how do you deal with really choti?
So really choti children, I think, or really chota children, you need to actually be with the child, play with the child, become one, and give them their sort of space and their fun time.
Right.
And then initially, I think it is a struggle for the parent also.
Yes.
So you have to figure out times where you can minimize your work time when your child is around.
Right.
But I agree that it is not going to be like a picture perfect thing. It is going to be a struggle which every parent may have. But try and do whatever best you can do to minimize this.
But yeah, one thing I do take from here is that parents working from home and working on their mobiles or computers, it does give a sense to the child that, I'm being neglected, does it?
If the parent is continuously doing it. So what I also mentioned earlier was that when one is multitasking.
Right.
So when you are with the child, then you have to be with the child 100%.
Yes.
But when you are doing your work, and after you've explained to the child, if the child is again behaving like this, then I think the child needs reinforcement.
Right.
And one needs to explain to the child after a period of fun that, look, now we've had fun and we could only have this fun because you allowed mama or papa to work.
Right. I think what parents sometimes miss is, like you said, reinforcement. Like once you've told my child that, I'm busy, I'm doing my work and I need some space, the child will come back again. And that time the parent, one time, maybe you'll do it again. And the third time the child comes, you snap back because you've lost your cool. We don't understand as parents sometimes that reinforced behavior, because the child forgets after 5 minutes that mama just told me this.
Exactly.
And you have to keep repeating the same thing in the same tone, even if the child comes back the 10th time.
Yes.
I think that's what we miss.
So it's just like a programming.
Right. True.
As the child grows, and once the child is around 3 years of age, the child has got a good vocabulary, a good memory, and a good programming.
Yes. And what age would that be?
That actually now, that's a very difficult question to answer. I see children not programmed till age of 10 also this time. But I think if one goes on well, it could be by the age of 3 to 5 children start getting more independent.
The lack in the age, like you just mentioned, that maybe till 10 there's some children not programmed. Yeah. Is it because the parenting is not right? What is the miss?
I would never say that parenting is not right, because every parent parents to the best of their ability. Right. But yes, I would say that they are not being adults in relationships. Right. So they are sometimes behaving just like children. And it's not a wrong parenting, but I think a wrong approach. And one can always modify one's approach to if one can introspect and reflect upon what's going on, then one can modify one's approach. What I understand
is from 3 years onwards, it's a parent's conscious responsibility to make sure that we are watching our actions, we are watching our behavior, because that's when you start programming the child, right?
Yes. In fact, the programming starts much earlier.
Right. Okay. So how does academic pressure at home, even when well-intentioned, shape a child's emotional well-being?
Academic pressure is one of the most common, I would say, reasons of anxiety in our country. And every parent wants their child to do well. Every parent wants that my child should not be left behind. Right. My child should be excelling in this competitive world. So what happens from a place of care, there is an addition of expectations. Right. And these expectations now start carrying emotional weight. Right. So what the child starts thinking is that if I am academically performing well, this is understood as approval. And approval means, again, safe zone.
Right.
And if the child is not performing well, then it is taken as either disapproval or reflecting on a child's self-esteem.
Right.
So what the child starts thinking is that if I perform well, I am going to feel loved.
Right.
So love becomes conditional.
Right.
Mistakes become disastrous. And child starts feeling that I should not rest, I should perform. And that is the seed, sowing the seed of anxiety.
Do you think the parents actually, the anxiety in the parents itself, it comes because they feel judged if their child isn't doing well? They take it on themselves, and which is why they put the pressure on the child.
I 100% agree on that.
Right.
So they feel that they are being judged, or it is reflecting upon what's reflecting upon them, or the background of the child.
True. And what would you say to parents who tell their children it's okay, relax, and don't bother, do whatever you want to do? What kind of approach is that?
I think this approach is also the other extreme approach, because then the child is always going to go haywire and lose that interest. So what we have to balance is that a child should always have a motivation to attempt. A motivation to try, without a fear of failure.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You said something so nice. I like that.
So what the child should be encourages that you attempt.
Right.
And you attempt, because even if you fail, you are learning. Right. So children who start doing this, they become like, I always tell my patients that they become like an RCC. Like in our house, we have the reinforced concrete cement. So these children become, R is resilient, they become C for curious and C for confident.
Right.
So if you have to make an RCC strong, like a new house, then you have to have children who are like RCC.
Absolutely agree with you. And how can we as parents help our children? So what happens is when they are, in these competitive exams, or they're doing their sports activities, and, there's a child who's, really driven by achievement, and they want all the medals and they want to come first. And when they do not get what they want, they're disheartened, they come back home. How can parents at that point of time help the child cope with that situation? And maybe, tell them that it's not just always about winning. How do parents act at that time?
I think this starts off, such mental makeup would start off much before the child is actually getting into the academic or the competitive sports or whatever one may be competing in. So if the child is well programmed, the child knows that I have to give my best. And everybody is not going to win. But it doesn't make a difference even if I win or I lose. I have competed, and that is more important.
True. What are a few simple but powerful practices parents can adopt to regulate their own anxiety before it affects their child?
So first and foremost is, I would say, practice the pause.
Yes.
So when you are in a situation, and this is going to be a daily affair.
Right.
So when there is a situation where your child is reacting in a way which you feel is not appropriate, then please pause. Don't react. You are mature. You are an adult.
Right.
So just take a deep breath. Just hold on, buy time, and see how you can handle this situation.
Right.
The best way would be that if you are not there with a clear answer, you just tell the child that I am going to talk to you about this maybe sometime later. At this point in time, just let us pass this.
Right.
The second thing is that we have to reduce our urgency. Everything doesn't have to be settled immediately. We have to take everything.
With a lot of instant gratification with children, thanks to all social media apps, all these Blinkits and Zomatos and 10 minutes deliveries. If the child comes to you and they instantly want it, even before they come to you, they've added it to the cart and they come to you, just pay. If they had the PIN, they would pay also themselves. How do we deal with that? I mean, it's just becoming this is the new era parents challenge, that how do we stop this instant gratification? Because as parents, of course, I realize this one part myself, that I am going to have to stop it before I stop my child. So I've stopped the Blinkits, I've stopped the Zomatos, kept everything for the weekends, told my child to make a list of the things we want. We're not doing a lot of Blinkits every other day. But apart from that also, still, because the children are in a society where you as parents can maybe control what you're doing, but we can't control how other people are. So they are watching their friends doing Blinkit in 1 second and they want to do the same. Now, how do you deal with that situation?
So as you rightly said, first is lead by example.
Right.
The second thing is when there is quality time you're spending with the child,
Right.
it is best to explain to the child what are the pluses and what are the minuses for
Right.
doing such a thing. What we did at home when we were bringing up our children
Right.
was that we made a program that we are going to have X number of meals ordered from outside.
Right.
Okay. And we gave the control to the children that, okay, Saturday night and Sunday night meals are going to be ordered.
Mm-hmm.
Now, all the other meals which are there being cooked at home, say there are 12 more meals, major meals.
Mm-hmm.
So 6 meals are going to be cooked at home as per your choice, and 6 meals are going to be cooked at home as per our choice.
Right.
And then we enter into a formal agreement, and then we sign that agreement.
Right.
Okay. So one, you are teaching your child responsibility, decision making,
Of course.
and also how to agree and how to stand up for oneself.
Right. Absolutely.
So subtly you are teaching a child many more things.
Right. Right.
As far as peers are concerned, I think we need to also educate our children. Many a time why we are doing it is that it's not their instant gratification. It is our own impatience. We want the monkey off our back. Okay, the child is repeatedly coming to you. It's not he's wanting or she's wanting gratification. It's our impatience.
Yes.
So we have to deal with it ourselves.
Yes.
We
And
have
I
to
think
be
children
calm.
have become very smart.
Yeah.
They know that we are going and bothering our parent at a time where they're very busy, and they've become so smart that they know that the parent is instantly going to acha theek hai, lo aur jao. So they've become too smart.
Exactly.
I think parents also need to learn that they're being trapped into this,
Yes.
Yes, that's very rightly said that, it's our own problem.
Problem that we need to actually handle.
True. Now, how can parents create emotionally safe homes that raise confident, resilient, rather than fearful children?
Emotionally safe homes are not homes which are quiet, which are perfect. They are not homes which are free from conflict.
Right.
So emotionally safe homes are homes which are accepting,
Right.
which are emotionally connected,
Absolutely.
and which are predictable. So if you are giving your child an environment which is safe, which is regular, rhythmic,
Right.
you always behave the same way,
True.
and which is connected,
Right.
the child feels very secure.
Right.
So what we need to also give children is emotional clarity in a background of reassurance of safety.
Right.
So what emotionally safe homes would allow children to do, one is that children are allowed to express their emotions unconditionally.
Yes.
I will use the word unconditionally.
Absolutely.
So they can come up with what they want, what they think, and you have to, as parents, deal with that,
True.
even if it is a little haywire.
Right.
The second thing, which is most important, is that there has to be a separation of behavior from identity.
Right.
A child is not a bad child. It is the behavior which is bad.
Right.
So you have to reinforce that.
Right.
That you are a good child, but this time you behaved and don't use strong words.
Right.
So you can always use that you did not behave in an appropriate manner, or it could have been better, something like this.
Right.
And the third most important thing in an emotionally safe home is that correction. In emotionally safe homes, there is always a separation of behavior from identity.
Right.
So you never label a child as a bad child. Right. You always label a behavior as a bad behavior.
True.
So you have to always keep that in mind, that while correcting your child, you always have to reinforce that you are a good child, but your behavior was not appropriate or is not acceptable, rather than using a strong word like bad behavior. Right. And thirdly, in an emotionally safe home, we have always connection which is always higher up than correction.
Right.
So you connect with your child rather than correct your child. Because majority of the time, it is your own worry, it is your own challenge why one is correcting one's child.
True.
As you rightly said earlier, that it is a fear of your own judgment or what people would judge you like. So it is all about how people would judge you is where the thing goes wrong. So if there is an emotionally safe home, not only is a child feeling protected, the child is feeling safe. The child is having that safety growing up now inside him or her. And the child knows that I am going to be loved unconditionally. I can do what I want to do, and still my parents are going to accept me.
True.
So that is very important.
Absolutely, I agree. So we see many parents feel they are protecting their children by hiding their own worries. Like I right in the beginning also asked you, that can you fake it with children? From your experience, can children still sense that anxiety?
Yes. So children have a very incredible, I think, sensing capacity where they can sense all emotional undercurrents.
Right.
So children can sense the tone, the body language. Children can sense the routine. They can sense emotions.
Right.
So what I would say is that it is not that a child is not able to sense what is going on.
Right.
The bigger problem is what sense the child makes out of this.
Yeah. Right.
So the child is not feeling protected. Now the child is feeling confused. So the first thing which comes to a child's mind is, did I do anything wrong?
Right.
Was I contributing to this?
Yeah, I remember, like you said, and it immediately came to my mind. So sometimes my elder daughter, like if I'm just sitting and I'm worried about something, she will just come to me and she'll give me a hug. Mama, are you okay? So at that point of time, initially I used to not think much about it. Now I've started to tell her what is bothering me, because I don't want to leave her in that state of confusion that did I do something wrong that mama is upset today? So the minute you said it, it's like, and she sometimes it truly surprises me how I've not spoken a word and she'll just come and hug me. Are you okay? She looks at me and she speaks like that. And it's just so amazing to see that nobody, not even adults in the house, have noticed that there's something off with you. Sometimes you yourself don't know that something's a little off, or maybe, your expressions have become something else. But the child can see it.
Yes. And that is what is most important. And as you are rightly doing, that is what advice we give all parents.
Right.
Always give your child emotional clarity.
Right, true.
And at the same time, while giving emotional clarity, give them a reassurance of safety.
Yes.
So you can always say that mama is bothered about her work, but everything is under control and it's all going to be fine. Right. I just have to deliver this in time and it's going to be okay.
I think I need to add to that. I usually tell her the problem, but I maybe never give her the reassurance that it's going to be fine, or maybe I'll get hold of it.
Yes.
I'll do it. That also leaves her a little bit of stress along with me. That mama's worried about this and now she is also worried about this.
Yes.
I think I need to do
add on the safety part, because as I mentioned earlier, the child is always happier when the child senses safety.
True.
Yeah.
Does breathing exercise help calm anxiety?
Yes, it does. So we have meditation, we have yoga, and there are a lot of other breathing exercises.
Do you think there should be a regular practice in schools?
I 100% agree.
Right.
So you should have a de-stress program, maybe after every 3 or 4 classes, or even before exams.
Right.
So 5 minutes breathing even before exams just takes the anxiety off, and then the children can start off
right, absolutely,
with the exams.
Does exercise play a role in managing anxiety, and can one over-exercising worsen anxiety?
Yes. So exercise definitely plays a role, because exercises helps you channelize a lot of energy and helps you channelize the energy in the right direction. But if we exercise or over-exercise, our body builds up a lot of lactic acid. And lactic acid just drains or saps us. So if one exercises more than one's own ability to exercise, and everybody has got a different level of ability, then a body can land up with fatigue, with anxiety, with sleeplessness and all
Why
of
I'm
that.
asking you this is that most mothers are very overworked. And then we have anxiety of going to the gym also.
Yeah.
So exercising, and obviously you go to the gym and you hit the gym and you exercise, but you're also very overworked at home. So that adds up to over exercising. It becomes like a burnout. Does that add to anxiety?
Well, it would not happen to everybody. But yes, I would say that if somebody is feeling anxious, then one needs to relook into one's own daily routine and see what is working optimal for us.
Most
because
people don't acknowledge.
Yes, health is basically freedom from disease. Health is not that if I can run 10 kilometers, I am healthier than you.
True, absolutely.
Okay? So one needs to understand and optimize. Everybody is different.
True. Yeah. I agree. Last question. If you could leave parents with just one thought today, what truly matters most in raising emotionally healthy children?
So I would just quote from a book I read, How to Be an Adult in Relationships. And the author, David Rico, he talks about 5 A's, which are very important whenever one is in any sort of relationship. And especially we are adults when we are raising our children.
Absolutely.
So the first A is affection. Give your child unconditional love. The second is allowing. Allow your child to experiment. Allow them to fail. Allow them to learn from failure. Allow them to accept failure. Allow them to be okay with it. Make peace with it.
True.
The third is attention. Give your child undivided attention.
True.
When you are with the child, it is your child's time. It is a time which is very precious, which the child is going to relish for one's own lifetime.
Absolutely.
The fourth is acceptance. Accept your child, even if your child has failed, even if your child is making mistakes. Accept your child. A child, you can only I would say appreciate this if you meet a couple who doesn't have children. God has given you a child, accept your child. And the last is appreciation. Many a times parents take it for granted that good behavior is something which the child has to do, but bad behavior has to be reprimanded. So appreciate your child. So children who are growing up in this environment, it's not that children who become strong are children who did not have their own failures or did not have their own elements of I would say challenges. But children who grew up strong or emotionally strong were children who, when they were growing up and when they were facing life or facing their journey, during their journey, they had somebody holding their hand with calm, with consistency, and with connect, and with care, and with compassion.
Absolutely.
So this is what I would like to tell my
beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you joined us on the podcast today, and because this is going to be really, really helpful to a lot of parents. There is so much information on social media coming from all sorts of people, and it's very overwhelming for parents because somebody says this. Of course, it's a view number game on Instagram or any other social media platform, and people would just say anything for those views. But coming from somebody as authentic as you, it will make a huge difference to them. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me here, and thank you for your kind words.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us in this podcast today. I'm so glad we had this conversation. If you like these conversations around parenting and education, please don't forget to follow us and subscribe to our channel. Watch out for what's coming in the next week.